It is week 7 in the NFL already, which means we have yet another injury report to go over for the Bucs week 7 matchup versus the Carolina Panthers. Let's start off with tight end Cameron Brate, who did not participate in practice on Wednesday nor on Thursday due to a neck injury that he sustained in last week's loss versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. If Brate is not able to go, which I imagine the Buccaneers would probably be very precautionary with this type of injury, that does mean guys like Kadon and Ko Keefe are going to get more playing time, as well as veteran tight end Kyle Rudolph very likely being active for the matchup as well. It was a pretty scary situation. Brate did have to get taken out on a board with a neck brace on. Thankfully, it seems like everything is good to go. He was able to travel back with the team. Again, the Buccaneers may be pretty cautious with this one moving forward. So all the players that I mentioned will be getting more playing time if Brate cannot go. Carlton Davis was a limited participant in Wednesday's practice, then did not participate in Thursday's practice due to a hip injury. And we're going to be talking about Sean Murphy-Bunting as well here. He also did not participate in practice on Wednesday and Thursday with a quad injury. So right now the Buccaneers are a little bit banged up in their secondary. They also did just place Logan Ryan on the injured reserve. Mike Edwards, thankfully, has been a full participant both in Wednesday and Thursday's practice with an elbow injury. So that is some good news. You're going to have Antoine Winfield Jr., you're going to have Mike Edwards, and you're going to have Keanu Neal in that safety room seemingly for this upcoming matchup. But pay attention to Carlton Davis, pay attention to Sean Murphy-Bunting moving forward. If either one of those guys can't go or are limited in some way, shape, or form, obviously Jamel Dean is going to have to step up in a huge way, which he has done at certain points already this year. You also have veteran D. Delaney. You have recent 5th-round draft pick Zion McCollum in there at cornerback as well. Anthony Chesley was elevated from the practice squad to the active roster for last week's game as well. Could very likely happen again if one of those two cornerbacks cannot go or is, again, limited in some capacity. Will Golston had a rest day in Thursday's practice, so he did not participate. Logan Hall was a limited participant in Wednesday's practice and was a full participant in Thursday's practice, so it seems like the young rookie is going to be good to go. Akeem Hicks did not participate both in Wednesday and Thursday's practice. We've already talked about that for multiple weeks in a row now. Julio Jones did not participate in Wednesday's practice, but was a limited participant in Thursday's practice, which is some good news. You know, Julio Jones seems like he is trying to work his way back in. He played a little bit in the Kansas City Chiefs game, I believe, but then had retweaked a knee injury that he's been dealing with throughout the entirety of this season. So he is slowly working his way back from that, but certainly keep an eye on it. And then Shaq Mason did not participate in Wednesday's practice and was a limited participant in Thursday's practice with an ankle injury. Definitely keep an eye on that one as well. Shaq Mason has been one of the best offensive linemen the Buccaneers have had so far this year. I'd say he's probably number 2 behind Tristan Wirfs. So it's definitely going to be one worth keeping an eye on. The Buccaneers have already had some struggles along the offensive line with Luke Gedeke already having some difficulties. He's going up against a lot of really good offensive linemen, so it is what it is. He is learning, but it would definitely be a very detrimental thing if the Buccaneers lose yet another very solid offensive lineman for this upcoming matchup versus the Carolina Panthers, who have some very good defensive linemen at their disposal. But folks, that is it for this injury report. That is all the names. Thankfully, a little bit of a shorter list compared to the one that we have seen in weeks past. As I said, the Buccaneers are going to be pretty cautious with a handful of these guys, like Cam Brate, like Julio Jones, along some of those other guys as well. I've talked about some of the guys who need to step up now, so let's just kind of keep an eye on these things. If anything does change, obviously, we will talk about that in some separate videos. But folks, let me know your thoughts and opinions about this injury report down in the comments section below. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on it. I know that there have been a lot of people who have been frustrated with some of these injury news, but one thing that is always important to remember is it's not necessarily the player's fault. They, of course, don't want to be hurt. So, it is unfortunate, but I don't think it's necessarily something worth getting angry at the players over necessarily. That's always an important thing to remember, is that these guys don't want to be hurt either. So it just stinks, and hopefully these guys can get back and get healthier as soon as possible. But anyway, folks, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. Now we'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.